Welcome to Poddy, April 29, 2026. Today we're diving into something that's becoming really critical in tech, the hidden risks of AI coding agents, and why nearly half of all professional developers flat out don't trust them. We've got some fascinating data showing AI code creates 1.7 times more issues than human-written code, despite making developers more productive. Plus, we'll explore what happens when AI agents start replacing human code reviewers and why that might be more dangerous than it sounds. This isn't just about bugs. We're talking about fundamental questions of safety, security, and whether we're moving too fast with automated software development. Let's start with this really interesting contradiction I'm seeing in the data. On one hand, research from GitClear shows that most engineers are producing roughly 10% more durable code when they use AI tools. That's code that doesn't get deleted or rewritten later. Sounds great, right? But then you have this other analysis showing that AI-generated code is consistently more variable, more error-prone, and more likely to introduce high-severity issues. In fact, AI code creates 1.7 times more issues compared to human-written code. So we've got this weird situation where developers are being more productive, but potentially creating more problems at the same time. What's really striking to me is that 48% of professional developers, that's nearly half the industry, don't trust AI coding tools. That's a massive trust gap. And I think it reflects something deeper than just typical resistance to new technology. These are people who work with code every day, who understand the stakes of a bad bug making it to production. When half of them are saying, I don't trust this thing that's supposed to make me more productive, that's worth paying attention to. My read is that developers are seeing the productivity gains, but they're also seeing the quality issues firsthand, and they're not convinced the trade-off is worth it yet. Now, here's where it gets really interesting and potentially concerning. We're seeing discussions about AI agents not just writing code, but running experiments, testing outcomes, discarding failures, and improving software autonomously. That's a huge leap from the current generation of tools like GitHub Copilot, ChatGPT, Claude, and Cursor, which are more like really smart autocomplete. But there's this question that keeps coming up. Are AI agents going to replace human code reviewers? And honestly, that question makes me nervous because code review is one of our most important safety nets in software development. There's this uncomfortable truth that someone raised on Hacker News that really stuck with me. They pointed out that if it becomes your full-time job to review a swarm of AI agents' work, and experience tells you they're good enough 95% of the time, you're probably not going to catch that remaining 5% of problems. That's just human psychology. When something works most of the time, we start to trust it, and our vigilance drops. But in software, that 5% can be catastrophic. We're talking about security vulnerabilities, data corruption, system failures. The math here is brutal. If you're reviewing thousands of AI-generated code changes and 95% are fine, you're still dealing with potentially hundreds of serious issues. Let me give you a concrete example of why this matters. Take GitHub Copilot's Cloud Agent. It can actually push code changes directly to repositories and has access to sensitive information. Now, GitHub says they have SOC 1 Type 2 compliance certification and lists broad compliance credentials covering financial security, privacy, and cloud standards. That's good, but compliance certifications don't eliminate the fundamental risk of AI hallucinations or error propagation. When an AI agent can automatically commit code to your main branch, you're essentially betting your entire code base on the statistical reliability of that AI model. And we know from the data that AI code has higher error rates. What really worries me is that we might be creating a statistical guarantee of bugs at scale. Think about it. If AI-generated code creates 1.7 times more issues than human code, and we're pushing toward automated development life cycles with reduced human oversight, we're essentially multiplying our error rate while reducing our ability to catch those errors. It's like having a factory that produces defective parts 70% more often, but also removing quality control inspectors. The productivity gains are real, but we might be trading short-term speed for long-term reliability and security. Now, I don't want to sound like I'm completely against AI coding tools. They're clearly useful and they're here to stay. But I think we need to be much more thoughtful about how we deploy them. The fact that nearly half of developers don't trust these tools is actually a healthy sign. It shows the industry hasn't completely bought into the hype. My take is that we need better guardrails, better testing frameworks, and we absolutely cannot eliminate human oversight in critical code paths. The 10% productivity boost is nice, but not if it comes with a 70% increase in bugs that slip through to production. Here's what I think developers and engineering teams should be asking themselves. Are you tracking the quality metrics of AI-generated code separately from human-written code? Are you maintaining the same level of code review rigor when AI is involved? And are you prepared for the statistical reality that AI code will introduce more issues? These aren't hypothetical concerns. The data is already showing us what happens when AI writes code at scale. The question is whether we're going to learn from that data or just focus on the productivity numbers. So where does this leave us? I think we're at a critical inflection point with AI coding tools. The technology is powerful and genuinely useful, but we're also seeing clear evidence of quality and safety risks that the industry needs to take seriously. The 48% of developers who don't trust these tools aren't being paranoid. They're being realistic about the current state of the technology. If you're using AI coding tools, do your own research on error rates, maintain strong human oversight, and don't let productivity gains blind you to quality concerns. The future of software development will likely include AI, but it shouldn't be built on a foundation of statistical bugs and reduced human judgment. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.